You need to have confidence in your trading strategy in order to execute it well. And that's what I've been doing the past 2 days, and I've been ending break even. First, it was yesterday's trade when I sat through drawdown for 2 hours. If you didn't see that video, go check it out. And then today, sat for another hour, end up losing, but we stay patient. We have trust in our strategy. We stay confident that we could find another entry, and we flip our buys and make our money back to the other side. So you can look at the trade Zella here so far this month and this week, like I'm saying, just survival. $20 and $40. Yesterday was just the one trade, break even, and then today a loss and a win. And it's not the most exciting trading ever of building these big green P&L days. I mean, I had a break even day last week as well on Wednesday. But the wins are going to come. I can't try to force them each and every day. The charts are going to give me what they want to give me. I just have to try to make money out of them each day. And we're not always going to be on our A game, first of all. And second of all, I could take a solid setup, and sometimes it doesn't follow through like I expected it to or we think it should. But the wins are going to come. I just have to make sure I don't let the days unravel and lose too much in a given day. That's the whole point of it all. Risk management, don't lose too much when you're wrong. And when you're right, everything's nice and easy. So let's take a look at today's trade. It's a nice short leading into the setup of just a nice lower high and lower low at the open. Definitely all sellers in control. So I'm trying to read and react off of that. We're definitely underneath the New York VWAP. You can see we don't really get a full retest to it here, but it's a solid retest nonetheless. And just the strong break of lower day view up there in purple is what made me want to get into it, because I was waiting for it to fully get back to New York. But with such a strong take of lower day VWAP, sellers showing that momentum, I didn't want to miss it, so I was willing to get in there. And the main lesson I try to preach in every video, not a stop loss at current structure, widening it to previous structure back here above the New York VWAP, as well as back inside the opening range low. Because I wouldn't necessarily want to be out of my shorts right here, because it could still hold New York VWAP, which it looked like for a little bit it was going to try to do, then break the lower day VWAP, and then move lower. So if that were to happen, I would hate to have been stopped out there, see it fall in my favor, and now I got to get back in just to recover the loss, rather than just still being in the initial idea. On top of that, for many people, taking those tight stop losses and taking those paper cuts, that's quickly what adds up to sometimes tilt days. If you get stopped out there and you see it come back below the New York VWAP, you're going to want to add in. So you get back in, or second time because you got stopped out, and you take another loss. So now you've taken 2 losses on the same idea. You're probably going to want to take a third and then a fourth. And that's how the day unravels, and you lose too much, your account is gone. Now you got to use code Evan to go buy a new one. And I don't want to have to do that. I want to just play the whole idea out until it tells me I'm wrong. And that's what we did today. It took an hour today. It took 2 hours yesterday. Now looking on the left side of things here, I have a better markup on this one here. This is the 15-minute for the day. I wasn't actually bearish coming into the open. Overnight, also taking into account yesterday's price action, we had a big move down, but just sat sideways. So if you didn't see that recap, go check that out on this channel as well. But sellers just disappeared at like 10:30 in the morning yesterday. It was just a slow crawl higher to end the session. Also kind of thought we might follow that into the Asia session just because of, well, if sellers couldn't hold us down here yesterday, how are they going to get us back down there today or overnight? And they didn't, but regardless, we're just crawling higher since 10 a.m. yesterday into the pre-market today. So I was kind of still long biased, especially being above that overnight. But the first 30 minutes of that New York session right here, these 2 big bearish bars, kind of induced me to think, yeah, we're going to move lower because we're at all-time high. This rejected right off of it. You can't see it on the markup here, but to the left last week, all-time high is right there. And it was a lot of selling momentum at the open, as you can see here on the 1 minute, all below New York, so I just followed it. And then I learned my lesson of weighing that 15-minute like I should. We're not actually bearish. What is the storyline? Why do I think we're going to move lower when we're above the start of week VWAP? We're still building higher lows, so until we're not, the trend is actually bullish. And I want to go continue the trend, so that's why we follow it up with the long. So I stay patient through the short because it topped me out over here, right? Try to hold the New York, try to give me a little bit of hope that it was going to break the lower day VWAP and run. Didn't work. Finally get stopped out. All right, but now we're actually making higher highs, right? The whole other reason of people say on stream or anywhere of these higher lows, right? It's definitely not a great thing that there's higher lows, but if it were to just eventually fall, well, there's the lower low. So what higher lows are we talking about? As long as we're still falling on top, I like the shorts. So let's just put that into perspective. If they were falling on top, I still like the shorts. But once I'm getting stopped out here, now we're not falling on top. We're making higher highs. So now it is higher highs and higher lows. Okay, yeah, the shorts aren't looking great right now. And even just take into the information of what is this VWAP telling you? What is the charts telling you? It's telling you that sellers cannot take this lower day view up once, twice, now a third time, that they're getting weaker and weaker each time, because every time the sellers try to step in, it's higher and higher each time. They're not going as low as they just had, right? So the buyers are showing a little bit more strength. We're actually also, like I was saying, on the 15-minute, looking kind of bullish. So with the lack of selling pressure, the 15-minute looking kind of bullish, I'm able to get into a long with a stop loss below all this structure, because if it finally does break these higher lows and the lower day VWAP, all right, shorts are back in. So I like the level there. I'm trading from mid-range, kind of bottom of range, to the top of range. And we had the crazy news pump. So I guess thankfully, unthankfully, I had to take profit in for the top one accounts. It would have been great to have had no take profit in and it smashes up to the moon. But also it could mess up your consistency rule, right? You don't want to make too much of risking $500 and go make 3,000, because now you're going to have to go make like 15K on your 50K account. So we had to take profit in to make back the loss. Could have made a little bit more if I just, like I said, didn't have a take profit in. But it is what it is. Survival. We're not going to catch the whole move anyways. It's very volatile. In and out. Happy days. And another thing to look at for this move afterwards, let's go to the charts. You can see my short here, right? Just the lack of sellers showing that follow through. You get this strong pump higher. You don't want to just chase that higher, especially when you don't know exactly why it's moving higher or all these different things, but just anchor a high day view up. New high of day, new information. Buyers are in fact in control. So you wait for the pullback, opening range high. Buyers don't take the high day view up there. Could enter there, but they're not in there. The buyers take high day view up here. So if you're putting it along there, again, not a stop loss at this current structure here. You get pinned out and then it goes higher. Give it some space to previous structure. It's still only 7.5 points. There's plenty of points to be had. You'll get your 1R. Don't be afraid that I have to go with 4 points. 7 is too much. If you don't think the move has 7 points in it, then I don't know why you're even long anyways. That's not a lot of confidence that we're going to move much higher if you think 4 points is all we got. But you allow it to still build these higher lows. Then buyers take it again, and now it's ready to pop. Bounces off with another higher low and pops even harder. So the trend became pretty clear, I guess probably once my trade was done, right? Because if you look at this 15-minute chart like we were looking at, once you get above this daily view up, which it was holding, and you're now popping up here on the news, yep, this is in fact a higher low. There's our higher high. Let's rip higher in the direction of trend. So that's why I always try to preach using that 15-minute. It's not very overly complicated, just reading structure on the 15-minute. Where are we in relation to the VWAPs? And then you just try to flow with that on the 1 minute as well. But with this 15-minute maybe looking bullish, maybe bearish, but the 1 minute screaming at me to short it so far here at the open, right? Not the greatest of days. I love it when I wake up and we're above the overnight and the New York Open's moving higher, because then I know I fully want to long it. Now let me just look for that opportunity to long it. But when some people want to short it, some people want to long it, that's just the lack of clarity. It's a tougher day to trade. So we made back the loss. I could have traded this as well to maybe try to end the day even more green. But when I take a loss, I take a win, I'm back to break even, recognizing how volatile this is as well. It's also 12 o'clock. I'm going to the gym. I'm going to get lunch. I'll come back tomorrow. If on another day I could come back and check the price action in the afternoon, but I just didn't. Survival is the name of the game. We'll take the break-even day tomorrow or today, and we'll try to come back in tomorrow. If there's clean conditions, I'll make $1,000. And maybe it's even cleaner on Friday. We make $1,000. You still can put up a $2,000 week, stack it on all these other weeks that we're having, and have great months. Don't be too zoomed in on 1 day, 2 days. Even a week is kind of zoomed in, right? Because you could have a horrible first or second week of the month and still finish that month fine. If you keep your head down, stick to your rules, know what's working best for you. But if you're too zoomed in on a given day, this day is not going to be $1,200. It's going to be $5,000. And now you're starting a new account on the 9th. You have a great 2 days. You carry that into Monday, another horrible day. We're buying another account on Wednesday. We start all over again. Just stuck in the hamster wheel, right? So avoid those big red days at all costs. Trade with top one. You could put in the max day loss so that it can't happen. And happy days. The last thing to look at here is just going to be this edge report of why we were kind of sitting through the trade as well later on. The shorts looked good because of what I said earlier in the video. But if you look at this initial balance, right, the chances of a no break, that we're just never going to break it, is 5%. And once we do break it, there's a 70% chance we only break one side. And that's just standard. If we go to weekday on a Wednesday, how are the odds on a Wednesday? A little bit higher of a double break at 32%, but still 64% chance that we only break one side. So now let's go back to this chart here and you'll see Let's throw on the initial balance, and we'll turn off the open range just to clear it up a little bit. There's the midline on that initial balance as well. But overall, on my short, we still hadn't taken out a side. So on my short idea, I'm hoping to try to go get that initial balance low break here, right? None of these times could it do it. So once I'm in this long, I'm thinking, well, if this even moves up a little bit higher, we're going to at least go to this initial balance high. It's going to break out of one side. It's very rare that it would just stay trapped in here all day. So we're going to get some gas in either direction, right? And I was initially short, so I was trying to go get the initial balance low. It's not telling me that wants to happen. So when I'm in the long, I'm targeting initial balance high, knowing it at least probably wants to go to there. And then once that happens, I know it probably doesn't want to come all the way back down and break the bottom as well, a double break, right? Probably just wants to break one side and continue on that one side, which could also help put you in these longs in the afternoon. So I think just looking at that report sometimes gives you the confidence just to look through of this thing probably is going to have some movement at some point. Am I on the right side of VWAP and structure? And then let me go try to get that target of the initial balance. So definitely go check that out down below as well. But hope you guys keep your head on straight, can handle these losses like I have been doing, or just the lack of follow through a clear trend, right? $20 and $40. It's nothing. It's break even. But again, it's 2 days in the hundreds of days we'll trade this year, the 30, 40 days we'll trade in this quarter. So zoom it on out. It's irrelevant. Stay alive. Come back tomorrow. Survival is the name of the game. So I appreciate you guys tuning in. Feel free to reach out if you need me. I'll see you guys on the charts tomorrow morning.